Hello and welcome to Today in Education TIE. Man, oh man, has it been a busy week, both for me getting back in the habit of school. I just transferred from a community college to university, and the amount of homework, the difference is jarring. Enjoyable, but jarring. But it's also been a busy week for education in general. We've got a number of things to look into, to summarize, to discuss. Let's jump right in. A Black Education Department employee's office was allegedly vandalized. This article comes from The Hill. There were a number of sources covering it, though. The office of a Black employee at the Department of Education was allegedly vandalized earlier this week in an event that some department employees are calling a racist incident. The employee was recently designated as a diversity change agent within the department, according to NBC News. African art figurines with their heads and limbs removed were reportedly found, and a poster depicting Ruby Bridges, a little girl who became an icon of the civil rights movement after she helped integrate an all-white elementary school in the South, was torn down from the wall and damaged. This next article comes from eSchool News, titled 3 Ways Welcome Back to School Videos Build Excitement for the New Year. We're not actually going to list the 3 ways. We're just going to kind of talk about the significance of these videos in general and why you might want them to be implemented into your school. I said want because I'm excited about it. Schools started sending out welcome back to school videos to families to generate excitement among students before they came to campus for open house. Even though they didn't necessarily know who their teacher was going to be, the kids fell in love with every single teacher in those videos because there's power in seeing people's faces and hearing their voices. If you can't tell, this article was written by a teacher at a school who just started doing this year, who seems to really enjoy it. The other purpose for the Welcome Back to School videos was to share some major changes in school procedures that we made last year. We wanted a lighthearted way to prepare students and parents for what they were going to walk into, so it didn't just hit them in the face. Now, guys, when I was in high school, we had a similar thing, but instead of having Welcome Back to School videos, the district would just call parents relentlessly for a week or two leading up to the beginning of school to let them know about these kinds of things. So even though parents and students alike weren't being hit in the face, they were being relentlessly pursued over the phone. And if you're anything like my parents or like most parents, eventually you just stop picking up the phone. You put the number in your blocked caller list, and or you at least save it to your contacts so you can just answer it when you want to. To share these videos, the school sent postcards with QR codes to every family. Scanning the code gave them access to 3 videos, an introduction from the admin team, a greeting from the teachers at their grade level, and a special message from me. That is the teacher, not me, Joshua, host of Leaflet. Now, this is interesting. This is cool. I don't think it would work in every district. I'm a little bit concerned about the means of access, right? Families and students who don't have a way to scan the QR code aren't going to have a way to access these videos. I hope they have some kind of alternative means of getting them out to the general public. This next article comes from the New York Times, titled When College Dormitories Become Health Hazards. Enduring less than ideal living conditions is something of a rite of passage for many college students. While the cost of higher education keeps rising, though, outpacing inflation every year since 1985, maintenance of student dormitories at many institutions has not always kept up. In interviews and exchanges with dozens of students across the country, heating and cooling issues were the most frequent complaints, but some reported much more serious problems, including vermin and mold. Now, note the use of the word vermin here rather than pests. I'm not sure to what extent we can really complain about pests where there's lots of food and lots of people. It's going to happen, but the mold is seriously concerning. This next article comes from Reuters. It's titled Australian State Ends Chinese Education Program Over Foreign Interference Fears. Australia's most populous state said it will axe a Chinese-funded education program that teaches Mandarin in schools amid fears over potential foreign influence. The Confucius Institute program, administered by the Chinese government agency Hanban, teaches China's official language in 13 public schools across New South Wales. However, the New South Wales government said in a review issued late on last Thursday that while it found no specific evidence of interference, it was improper for the program to continue. Now, this comes, if you listen to the Today in Education section of the show, you know that this is following a stark increase in foreign teacher arrests in China throughout this past year. This next article comes from NBC. Most teachers pay almost $500 to set up their classroom, and this viral campaign aims to change that. An online campaign named #ClearTheList is spreading on Instagram to help people pitch in to stock a teacher's classroom for the start of the school year. How wholesome. I was on Twitter and I was on Instagram checking these out. Oh my goodness. It just makes you love people. It really does. If you haven't, I really suggest searching the hashtag on Twitter and on Instagram, or hashtag edutwitter, edutwitter on Twitter as well, is very wholesome. This next article comes from the New York Times, titled "Trump Orders Student Loan Forgiveness for Disabled Veterans." President Trump signed a measure on Wednesday that seeks to remove the bureaucratic barriers for permanently disabled veterans to qualify for student loan forgiveness, which he said would save 25,000 wounded warriors an average of $30,000. The rollout of this executive action came during the American Veterans National Convention in Louisville, Kentucky. You know, that state that looks like a chicken leg, where Mr. Trump was joined on stage by Betsy DeVos, the Education Secretary, and the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs, James Byrne. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that your week has been as enjoyable as mine. I maybe hope it hasn't been as busy as mine. You have a wonderful day, wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Never stop learning.